The drought was finally over.
To right field, down the line, the Mariners win this game 2-1. The drought is over. Cal Raleigh, wow! Hey now, hey now, hey now!
Are you kidding me, Cal Raleigh?
After 20 long years, Mariners fans finally got to celebrate a postseason game in T-Mobile Park, which ended in a heartbreaker, but what else is new?
The Mariners, once again, cannot get past the Houston Astros.
But for the Mariners, it looked like the opening of a new door. The opening of this window that we've been told is going to be coming soon, and a time for the Mariners to finally build the dynasty that we have heard is what's to come. Seattle came so close in 2021, and then finally made the playoffs in 2022. And then 2023 rolled around. You had the All-Star game in T-Mobile Park. Sure, some of the guys you added maybe weren't what you wanted. More specifically, Teoscar Hernandez, Cooper Hummel, Colton Wong, AJ Pollock, and of course, Tommy La Stella. But coasting off the inertia of 2022, it felt like almost anything was possible in 2023. Especially with the All-Star game being hosted in T-Mobile Park, it really did feel like baseball was rejuvenated in the city of Seattle. The only notable acquisition before the 2023 season was probably that of Teoscar Hernandez, a big right fielder for the Seattle Mariners who was going to be right in the middle of your lineup. But of course, we know how much Teo struggled in 2023. After a disappointing end to the 2023 season, missing out by just a couple of games, it was on to the offseason of 2023 to 2024. While it sucked missing the postseason once again, 88 wins this year instead of 90, going into 2024, you felt hopeful. Okay, things didn't break your way in 2023, and going into 2024, well, honestly, we felt pretty good about the free agent acquisitions and the trades that the Mariners made. Of course, there was the dark times right before Christmas, where Eugenio Suarez was traded and Jared Kelenic was traded, and of course, we all know Teoscar Hernandez leaving to go sign a contract with the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Mariners needed some help. And going into 2024, when they signed Mitch Garver, it felt pretty good that they went out there and signed the best DH not named Shohei Ohtani available in the free agent class. A guy who has always been one of the best hitters in the league when he's healthy. Jorge Polanco, a guy who has been doing it for 10 years as one of the best second basemen in the league, was surely going to fix the Adam Frazier and Colton Wongs of the world at second base. And at third base, a platoon between Josh Rojas and Luis Urias felt at least serviceable. While it wasn't going to be Eugenio Suarez, it felt like it was definitely something that could fit for a little while. Mitch Haniger was making a return to T-Mobile Park to play right field for the Seattle Mariners, and it really did feel like the addition of Luke Raley was going to help the Mariners quite a bit out there in left field. At one point, the Mariners were riding high over Father's Day weekend, sweeping the Texas Rangers before it all came crashing down.
Mariners shut out the Texas Rangers as they go from 5.5 up to 8.5 up. It is their largest division lead since the end of the 2001 season.
A 10-game lead in the division gone in the blink of an eye, and once again, we watched the Houston Astros win the American League West, while the Mariners got to sit on the couch for the entirety of October. I think I'm making this video for me, as a reminder to myself, as well as for all of you guys, because frankly, we buy into this a lot. And it doesn't help that a podcast like Joe and I's, we bought in last offseason. We bought in the offseason before even. We really did think that Jorge Polanco and Mitch Garver were going to be the saviors for this Mariners offense when clearly that ended up not being the case. It should have worked. On paper, this team should have worked. On paper, this team should have gone to the playoffs. On paper, on paper, on paper. Going into 2022, I really thought that adding Adam Frazier, a guy who had been like a 300 hitter his whole career, was going to be really, really helpful at second base. A guy at the bottom of your lineup and can maybe even hit leadoff for you. And we saw what he did here. When that didn't work out, Colton Wong was going to be the guy. A guy who I'd always liked, a former Gold Glover who was coming off his 2 best years of his career. And that didn't work either. And then Jorge Polanco comes here, one of the best second basemen over the past 10 years in baseball, and he has his worst year. As Mariners fans, we can't make the mistake this offseason of seeing the guys the Mariners sign and being complacent with what it is. Now, if they go out there this offseason and sign guys like, I don't know, Alex Bregman and Juan Soto, then yeah, maybe we can buy in. But if they're going out there and signing like Donovan Solano to play first base, or going out and getting, leaving Josh Rojas at second base or third base, we just can't buy in anymore as those guys being okay. We can't be complacent with those additions to the team. And again, I am so guilty of this. Over the past few years, I have even been on here telling you guys that this is going to work, that there's no way this offense can be as bad as it was. This is going to be what fixes it, because I wholeheartedly believed that I was telling the truth. I wholeheartedly believed that this team was going to be better over the past few years. I wholeheartedly believed in what the front office was doing. Joe and I take full responsibility in putting our part into the hype of these baseball teams. It really did feel like going into 2024 that this team was going to be better. When Mitch Garver was signed, okay, let's backtrack here. Before Mitch Garver was signed, the world was on fire, man. Jared Kelenic was traded, Eugenio Suarez was traded. There was just so much wrong with what happened at the beginning of the offseason for the Mariners in 2023 to 2024, simply because they had to cut payroll because of the whole root sports thing. And then going into like the holiday season and after that, it was like, okay, now we're starting to go. We added Mitch Garver. We went out there and traded for Jorge Polanco. I was feeling pretty good about both these things. Then the Luke Raley trade went down. The Mariners also brought back Mitch Haniger. Hopefully he'd be able to give you something in the outfield. And Luke Raley seemed like a guy who was on the precipice of a career year, which honestly he was. But I think we all have to stop gaslighting ourselves into thinking that these mediocre moves, some of these moves that are smaller because the Mariners don't want to spend the money, is okay. It's time for us to start being harsh. It's time for us to start being hard on the front office, hard on this baseball team when they go out there and make stupid moves like signing Tommy La Stella, who couldn't even play a position for you in 2023. And that's not to say that I'm going to go out there and basically lambaste the Mariners for every single move that they make. If I think they make a good move, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you that I think it's a good move, and I will once again eat my words if that's the case. If I'm wrong, and I accept that. I think the hard part is that we all love the Mariners so much, and we all want them to be successful, that we're willing to put our belief in guys who truly didn't deserve it. Did we really think that Cooper Hummel was going to be the savior for this baseball team? Did we really think that AJ Pollock, the corpse of AJ Pollock, was going to come in and save this baseball team? Did we really think that going into 2024, everybody was going to stay healthy in that rotation? No, but they did. Did we really think that everyone was going to stay healthy in the bullpen? No, and they didn't. Matt Brash getting hurt sucked. Having to go out there and sign Ryan Stanek because Matt Brash got hurt, yeah, that sucked. And then Ryan Stanek being bad, yeah, that sucked. And it seems like so far that we've been in this offseason, it already has been bad news after bad news. What was it, like the day after the season where the Mariners and John Stanton came out and said, yeah, signing free agents is actually a bad strategy, guys. It's bad. Take it from the one team that's never made the World Series. We know what we're talking about. Again, I will applaud the Mariners when I think they make good moves, but I am going to lay into them when I think they make bad moves. And Joe and I did that last year when they traded Jared Kelenic in that package to also trade off Evan White and Marco Gonzalez. Joe and I got on stream. And it was one of our biggest streams ever, by the way. And it was after dark. We were letting whatever words came to our minds fly because of how pissed off we were. And yeah, that's going to be more of the same this offseason because, again, if the Mariners make stupid moves like that, we're going to let the people know. But again, if the Mariners make another move like Mitch Garver, honestly, I might applaud it because I really believed in Mitch Garver in 2024. But as Mariners fans, we have to stop giving the organization the benefit of the doubt. And I know a lot of you already have, but I'm speaking for the other people that are always optimistic, like me and like Joe, about everything that they do because most of the time it hasn't been working out. So maybe to guard our own mental health, we need to be a little bit harsher on this baseball team than we have been in years past. Maybe set our expectations a little bit lower and hope that they blow them out of the water. Because every single year, I go into the season thinking, yup, this team is going to do it. This is the year. And every single year, when it gets to September, I literally feel like my heart's being ripped out of my chest. We have to protect our peace going into 2025. And that may be looking at some of the moves the Mariners make and saying, that's just a bad move, man. And there are plenty of people that are going to be jaded in the comments and say every move the Mariners make is a bad move. There are some people that just love to be miserable. And you know what? Respect to you. I don't know how you do it. I would just stop watching the baseball team personally. If I felt that way about it all the time, I would just stop watching it. But I'm not going to tell you how to fan, man. I'm just going to say, get prepared for a weird offseason for the Mariners because we already know the budgets are not going to be as high as we hope they're going to be. It came out, like 2 days after the season ended, that the budget was going to be hardly higher than it was in 2024. Awesome. Sick. The Mariners didn't even hold a postseason presser. Awesome. Very cool. The owner of this baseball team thought it would be a good idea to get onto an article with Adam Jude and say that signing free agents is a bad strategy. This team, time and time again, has let us down, and I think we just have to prepare for it at this point. I'm tired of being caught off guard by how disappointing this baseball team is, and because of that, we're going to be coming at you this entire offseason with our pure and unfiltered thoughts about the moves that they are making. So I hope you guys are ready for a fun offseason. Buckle up. I appreciate you guys watching this one, and go Mariners.